The fast lane is getting crowded. We live in an era of accelerating change and dwindling loyalties, particularly in business and industry. Is it possible to change with the times and not be changed by them? At VG Products, the courage not just to face change, but to define it was the cornerstone on which the company was founded. We have always known that to set the pace requires leadership, and leadership requires vision. And to fulfill a vision requires enduring commitment. In the 1960s, Americans were on the move as never before. With cheap gasoline and ever bigger and more powerful cars coming out of Detroit, this nation's infatuation with the automobile was in full bloom. Americans were taking good care of their cars, and automotive additives had become a major industry. But by 1971, the marketing of these additives was taking a turn in a different direction. Where once there was a strong bond between manufacturer and distributor, now some manufacturers were looking to establish direct-to-consumer strategies. For 7 of the industry's top distributors, this trend represented a breach of a trust that they believed was at the core of successful business relationships. So they joined their suddenly depleted resources and went out to find a new and better product to sell and a facility to produce it. Don Broadbent was a highly decorated veteran of World War II, a navigator on a B-17 with 35 missions flown over enemy territory. He drove a truck on his return from the war before becoming a distributor of fuel additives. Working as a salesman, warehouseman, bookkeeper, and handyman, he built his business day by day. With particular strength in sales to farmers, he developed a premier sales and distribution organization. From his earliest years, O.J. Cannell Jr. knew he wanted to be an attorney. He realized his dream in the toughest years of the Great Depression. Immediately after law school, he became county attorney in his hometown, El Dorado, Kansas. He served as an Air Force glider pilot and instructor during World War II. After the war, he came home to resume his legal career and help with the operation of an oil company founded by his father. In 1971, he joined with the other 6 founders as the company's treasurer and counsel. Roy Leslie was born for speed. A natural mechanic, he was building engines and race cars as a teenager. His first job was in an auto dealership. Then in 1938, he and a friend opened an automotive repair business in a tiny garage in downtown Denver, Colorado. The business prospered and diversified. Just after World War II, Roy became the Colorado distributor for a major additive company. Over time, Roy's distributorship took responsibility for western Nebraska, Wyoming, and Utah. Along the way, in 1957, Roy established an American land speed record of 270 miles an hour in his Kansan Leslie Streamliner. As a pilot of a B-29 Super Flying Fortress, Sam Parks watched the first atomic bomb being loaded aboard another B-29. The bomb ended the war, but not before Sam won a Purple Heart, a Distinguished Flying Cross, an Air Medal, and a Silver Star. He began his distributorship in 1957 and quickly built one of the elite specialty sales organizations in the country. It's important to note that Sam Parks was also, once upon a time, the mayor of Stallings, North Carolina. Yet another World War II veteran of the Army Air Corps, John Thompson, came home to a ranch near Abilene, Texas. After a short stint as a cowboy, he was called back to service in the Korean conflict. For a short time after Korea, John was an agent for the Internal Revenue Service. But soon he had moved his family to Oklahoma City to become sales manager for an old friend with a distributorship. John was eventually joined by another friend named Q.T. Williams. Eventually, the two bought the distributorship and made it a legendary organization. The Thompson-Williams partnership introduced new products of their own invention and developed remarkable techniques quickly adopted by the parent organization. Q.T. Williams was raised on a dirt farm in central Texas during the Dust Bowl. There he developed the mechanical aptitude for which he has been so widely known throughout his life. He piloted landing craft onto enemy-held islands during World War II, then came home to become a barber. It was in his barber shop that he met John Thompson. The two men became friends, and a few years later, using borrowed money, they bought that Oklahoma distributorship. QT eventually sold his share of the business to John and moved to Kentucky to take over the distributorship there. In just a few years, he built the distributorship into one of the top 10 in the United States. The son of a railroad man, Don Walton graduated from Texas A&M in 1942, immediately after which he was commissioned as a cavalry officer. After finishing the horse course at Fort Riley, Kansas, Don was sent to the South Pacific. Colonel Don Walton and the 302nd Cavalry Reconnaissance Troop led the first Americans into Tokyo at the end of World War II. Back home in Texas, he became a pioneering distributor in what was then a young additives industry. A one-man dynamo, he served as salesman, accountant, manager, and warehouse laborer. He built his company into a premier sales organization, nationally recognized for its performance year after year. These were the 7 who would comprise the founding nucleus of BG Products. Sam Parks and Q.T. Williams served as point men for the search, flying themselves all around the nation. They would settle upon a manufacturer in Wichita, Kansas, which was willing to make the superior quality of products the 7 partners knew their new company could market. The manufacturer's name was Southwest Grease and Oil. In September 1971, the 7 were ready, and they formed their company, BG Products. It has been suggested that the BG stood for Big Gamble, and it certainly was that. Sam Parks was elected president of the newly formed company. But in the first year, Sam called upon the board to assign his duties to a new president in order to meet earlier obligations. So Don Walton took the helm of the newly formed company. In November 1971, the partners took BG's first 2 products to market, Engine Tune-Up and RF7. The first truckload, 40,000 pounds of the only 2 products available, left Southwest Grease and Oil bound for Sam's distributorship in North Carolina. In our first full year in business, BG sold products worth just over $500,000. In 1973, we achieved 17% growth. 20% growth followed in 1974. From the beginning, the founders practiced a philosophy based on concern for other people. As Don Walton emphasized in a speech before the entire company in 1972, "1 year ago, our little group made the decision to join together and start what is now known as BG Products. No matter how long we discussed the good and the bad, the fears and the doubts, the ups and the downs, we always came back to one central proposition. People are important. People are important." Having seen firsthand how very important relationships can be to a business organization, the founders were determined that their new company would recognize human dignity at every turn. The golden rule has always been BG's first operating principle. Taking good care of our distributors was always our second. With virtually no track record as a company and products still unproven in the field, BG faced stiff competition in the recruitment of outstanding salespeople.
BG Products Incorporated presents for your inspection the 100,000-mile engine test.
Still, with an organization where quality of product and loyalty to distributors were the 2 principal tenets of doing business, there came, in time, some excellent new associates for our infant company. The early years were full of lessons. There were plenty of tough times as we worked out bugs in just about every aspect of the business, right down to how the product was packaged and shipped. In 1973, BG suffered 2 tragic losses in the deaths of Roy Leslie and John Thompson. In a 3-month period, the BG family said goodbye to the wisdom, the integrity, and the generosity of 2 guiding lights. The company was also feeling the pressures of macroeconomic trends and political winds. The oil embargo of the 1970s damaged many of our markets, and we were forced to find new markets with new products to sustain our growth. By the late 1970s, about 40 products constituted the BG line. MOA, then called motor oil additive, and Supercharge had come into the line in early 1972 and quickly became staples. We introduced bulk products in 1973 and added a few aerosols soon after. In time, grease products were also added to the product mix, then products for motorcycles. The company was doing business from a rented facility at 910 East Lincoln in Wichita. In 1976, BG broke the $1 million mark in a year of 28% growth. Growth made possible by the addition of a dozen new distributors the year before. The loyalty of our people and distributors carried BG through the difficult years of the early 80s when the oil business went bust. BG has always been responsive to change, and as traditional markets disappeared, we accepted the inevitability of change and forged ahead. By the 1980s, Southwest Grease and Oil, the manufacturer of all BG formulas, had been sold to a company called Whitco. Then, in 1985, Whitco decided to close the Wichita plant. BG purchased the Wichita facility and was now manufacturing the products it was marketing. With a research laboratory of our own and proprietary manufacturing processes, we were ready to develop new products and to capitalize more fully on our existing products. The 10-year note on the Wichita Street plant was paid off in 4. As the maintenance requirements of ever more sophisticated engines have grown from model year to model year, BG has kept pace with detailed, comprehensive educational programs. This continuing commitment to education has resulted in the founding of our own BG University in October of 1999. Every group clinic, every on-wheel demonstration of BG products and services has 2 overriding goals: benefits for vehicle owners and profitability for the professionals who pour our products. As we approached a new millennium, BG took a number of bold steps to set the pace for change in the industry. Recognizing a need to help our distributors create demand for our products, we initiated a brand awareness program that placed BG before a nationwide audience of industry professionals in trade magazines and racing venues. Knowing that the service operations of our dealers drive sales of BG products, we've created maintenance services that include not only the product, but the tools to deliver that product. In some cases, this has led to the development of services that did not previously exist. This innovation has been so successful that the sale of tools alone has grown from 5% to 25% of total sales revenue. Today, BG is a company that doesn't just sell a product. We market maintenance services that expand the profit potential of dealer service departments. The final years of the 1990s also saw the introduction of a number of new products, some of which enable us to expand into new markets, like our entry into marine markets with the Wake Runner product line. Other new products rekindled the fleet maintenance and industrial markets. And perhaps most impressively, BG became a global company in the final years of the 20th century, as promising new territories in Europe, South America, the Far East, Mexico, and Canada were established. There have also been milestones which have irrefutably established the quality of our products. In 1998, our 300,000-mile test of our additives in a Mazda finally came to an end after 4 grueling years. Monitored by independent laboratories, it was determined that the vehicle maintained the fuel mileage, performance, and emission standards of a new engine. Our technicians completely tore down the engine and determined that all the engine parts were still within new specifications. Over the years, a series of recognitions have been received from professional and industry organizations. One of the challenges of rapid growth is the capacity to handle that growth. Once again, responding boldly to the need for change, BG initiated the construction of a new warehouse, which was completed in May of 1999. And just a few months later, we cut the ribbon on our brand new corporate headquarters. But regrettably, the passing of the millennium was also marked by the passing of two more of our beloved founders, O.J. Cannell, Jr. and Don Walton. The wisdom and integrity with which they provided leadership on the board have been invaluable, not only to our growth, but to the character of our company. To say that the future is one of great promise would be an understatement. The growth we have experienced in recent years has been nothing less than astounding. The rich legacy of leadership we have enjoyed will continue in a new generation, a generation raised in the business with a deep appreciation for our values and mission. Eddie Bash specializes in marketing and distributor development. He came to board service in 1973 on the death of his old friend, Roy Leslie. In the years since, Eddie has kept his promise to Roy to take care of what Roy always called the family. John Thompson grew up in a distributorship, but he left a long-sought engineering career behind to help his mother in the operation of a BG distributorship on the untimely death of his father. Elected to the board in 1974, John has never looked back, and now the third generation of Thompsons are making BG a true family business. BG President Galen Myers was elected to the board in 1992. He was a lab technician at Southwest Grease and Oil when the very first BG products were formulated. From the beginning, he has worked to make BG better for employees, distributors, and customers alike. Ron Leslie came to board service in 1992. He is his father's son. A racer, an astute businessman, he serves on both the automotive testing and marketing committees. Without exaggeration, it can certainly be said that Dennis Rawson is the inventive chemist behind the quality of much of our present-day product line. BG's technical director was elected to the board of directors in 1995. Dennis has made innovation, unimpeachable accuracy, and scientific proof of marketing claims the basis of BG's greatness. Harold Irwin has combined an intuitive understanding of mechanics with a rural work ethic in a long and distinguished career. He first served BG during his tenure at Southwest Grease and Oil, sharing his technical expertise with BG distributors. In 1991, in recognition of his ongoing contributions, Harold was named BG Technical Advisor. In 1996, he was elected to the board of directors as a fitting capstone to his many years of service. Continuing in the distinguished tradition established by his late father, O.J. Cannell, Jr., Ray Cannell serves BG as legal counsel. Raised on his father's farm to respect the value of a job well done, Ray also has a profound respect for the quality of the work BG people do. Elected to the board in 1999, he is deeply committed to helping BG meet the challenges that rapid growth can bring.
We knew each other, we stuck together, we fought this thing through the good and the bad, and we made it. We pulled it through to where we are. And I feel like we're just starting. The trail we're on right now, I think probably in the next 10 years, it will probably be 5 or 6 times bigger than it is. It's growing that fast right now.
I think our future is extremely bright. And in times when you would think that you have, that most of the business is divided up, we're growing faster than ever before. And it's amazing.
The growth has just been tremendous. But I think the future is very bright with the things that we see in the field, the things that we see here in the home office, and just nothing but brightness ahead.
This company is so blessed with people, good people, responsible people, who have every concern of the BG distributor at heart.
Founded on the simple belief that companies are about people, and people should be committed to each other's success, BG Products has always been something more than the products we make or the sales we generate. We are family in the very best sense, the sense that in a world of change, we can rely on each other. When we grow together. The strength between us is the history we share and the vision we have the honor to fulfill.
Thanks. Just thanks a lot to everyone. There's so many people that I can't start naming them. Over 400 salespeople. And I think of their families and the kids and the wives and all of that part of the side, all the distributors, and on all of our people here at the plant. It's taken so much work from so many people to just really bring this thing together. And each year just gets better and better, and just looking much forward to the future.